Learn today some logic building techniques, and there are like many techniques here listed, and this will be really helpful for interview preparations for the big tech companies. So we can also use a lead code to write the program. So I think if you are familiar with these techniques, then it will be very useful to write the program efficiently. So there are 21 techniques I have listed, and there can be few more we can add later, but we'll see the different programs for each of the techniques, and then we'll try others also, and we'll write these programs in a lit code. So today let's see this hashing technique. So based on the hashing technique, there is a one easy problem. So let's go to the lit code and try to write some program. So I'm going to write the program in two different languages. One is Golang, other is Java. So let's see that. So let's try this two sum problem today. So let's try to understand what's this problem means. So there are nums here. There is a array, and in this array there is a target, and we have to find out two number. When we add this two number, the target will be 9. So we know that in this array there is a two numbers 2 and 7. When we add this 2 7, it becomes 9, and if you see the index, it's a 0 and 1. So that's the output. So this is the input and that's the output. So that's the requirement, and then we can think how to find this index. So there's a very simple way for brute force. So in a brute force technique, like if you have one for loop, go iterate from each item, and there will be inner for loop, and inside the inner for loop you can start from next item. Then you can keep checking whether that's the sum is equal to target or not. So yeah, so that's the easy solutions. But in this case, there are two loops, one for and another inside another for loop. So in that case, like if you see like big O, time complexity is the big O n square. So that is not the good solution. So in that case, we have to optimize the solutions, and there are many ways to optimize. So one of the way is hashing. So we'll use the hashing, and based on the hashing, we'll write the program. So in the hashing technique, when we use the hashing technique, what we do, we'll have like only one loop, one for loop, and inside the for loop we can iterate one by one item, and then we can store this item in a hash map. So we'll store the item like 2, and the index is 0. In the similar way, we'll store 7, index is 1. So we can store that item in a hash map. But what we do, the first time when we store this item, we'll store 2 and index 0, and the second time when we try to insert 7, what we do, we'll use technique like we want like target 9. So what we do, we'll subtract second item from 9 target, and whatever the remaining 9 minus 7 is 2, we'll check in a map whether it exists or not. And if it exists, we know that it exists. So in that case, if it exists, we'll get the index, this index, and then current index. So that will be our result. So let's see how to write the program for this. So, and in this case, the time complexity will be big O of n, and the space complexity will be big O of n. So let's use the Golang now. Okay, so in this functions we have array and there is a target, and we want to return the array. So array contains the indexes. so first let's iterate this item first. So this is index, and then I say like num, that's a num, and then range, we'll use the nums. So we are iterating the item one by one. So we'll get the item num, and as soon as we get this item, we just store in a map. So for that we need a map variable. So let's say map, so int and int, and let's store this number num inside a map. So m and num, so we are storing this value num. So first time we'll get the 2, so we'll store 2, and the index is ind, so I will store ind here. Next thing is, when second item comes in iteration 7, what we do, we'll check the item exists or not. So this time we'll use some technique here, how to check the item exists or not there. So what we do, we'll use the target. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this map, and here target minus this item, whatever the item comes here, so the num. So let's say we are at 7, so target minus num. So, and it will return some index. So I'm just saying it's like index 1, and then okay. So I'm checking here, like if okay, that means if the item exists. So in this case, like target is 9, and 9 minus 7 is a 2, and of course the 2 exists in a map. So in the case, if it exists in the map, then we'll get the value. So this is the value, index 1. So we need exactly this index 1. So index 1 will be 0. So we'll return array of index 1, and then we also need the index 2, the second item, that is the 7. So we are at the position 7, so second index is 1. So in that case, this is the index ind. So this will be answer. So this will be answer, and if you do not find anything, then return something empty like this. Let's try to run and see whether it runs or not, and then we'll submit. Okay, it's accepted, and target is 9, output 0 1, and expected 0 1. Let's try to submit this. Okay, accepted, so that's good. Let's try to write the same program in Java. So this is cool, and I'll choose Java here. Okay, so the same concept again. We need to iterate this. So I'm going to use the for loop. Let's say for int I equal to 0, I less than nums dot length I plus plus. Then we'll come here, we need a map, so let's define the map here. So map, the way we define the map here is hash map. So the hash map, and then it needs integer because we want to store the value and index. Okay, so we define this map m. So simply we'll store this value m dot, we'll use the function here like put function, and then we want to store this number. So let's say first number num, yeah, in this case I0 is the first number, and we also need the index for this. So index is I, so we stored this, and from the second item onwards, like we'll check whether target minus that num exists or not. So we'll use the function if like m contains key, and then target minus nums I. So if this is true, like if this, we are at second item in iteration and we're checking target minus this, a target, okay, target minus num, if it exists, then in this case we want to get the first index. So the value we can get m dot get target nums I, and this is the index 1, and this is the int. Okay, and we know the index 2 will be the I, so just return here, return like new int index 1 and I, and if you do not find anything, then return new int like this. Let's try to run this, see any syntax error. Okay, semicolon. Okay, and then go, we do not have the semicolon here. In every place we need semicolon, so let's add this first. Okay, let's try now. Error, cannot find symbol input. Where is this input? So that is the way, but why it is saying input num I? So okay, so what is this? This is the nums. Okay, so that's the nums. Okay, okay, I think we got the output 01, expected 01, so that's good. So logic is exactly same in a both, so we just completed this in Golang and Java. Let's try to submit. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, so here we see we are using the space, so that's the one thing. And but yeah, definitely this is the optimal solution compared to the first one, like the brute force. And sometime there can be the question like can we write this same program without using hash? We can do that, but we'll see, we'll use another technique, so like two-pointer technique, and we'll do that in next video. And today we use the technique hashing. So that's all for today. Thank you.